I've been a freelance filmmaker for the last 6 years, and here are the 5 most important things that I've learnt. So if you're considering going into film or video, or you already work in the industry and you're just interested in other people's experiences, here's what I now know. When I started my journey, I had very little practical experience running a business. I became interested in making films after seeing Pirates of the Caribbean 2: Dead Man's Chest. I saw the behind the scenes and it looked amazing, and I just thought to myself, that's really cool. I want to do that. I had no idea that working for myself meant I also had to manage all the expenses that come with working in film, and there are a lot. Investing in equipment, tracking mileage, buying a computer, software costs, it all adds up. I very quickly learned that chasing the next big camera was not the way to go, and there are much better things you can do with your hard-earned money. Focusing on what it takes to grow a small business and how to start contributing well to personal savings or even a pension would have set me up with good habits right from the get-go. Obviously, there are bits of kit that you need. I definitely bought a lot, and I'm not saying I shouldn't have bought them, but really, were they a necessity? And did they pay themselves off in the long run? If I was to buy a bit of kit that was maybe something completely different to what I already had, like a 360 camera, I would go out and try to book that kind of work. If a client said yes, I'd take a portion of the budget and buy the equipment. And then before the shoot date, learn everything I could, become really proficient at it and make sure I knew the ins and outs. This can be a good idea because it means you don't have to put the capital up front to buy this piece of equipment. And you can use this on future shoots, upgrading your content or widening your scope if you want to, or even focusing down more specifically. Now, I also frequently undersold myself, or gave huge discounts just to get the work. While it was useful to build a portfolio when I was starting out, after a year or two, I realised that I didn't really have to keep doing it. And I felt that continuing to do this devalued me and the work I was doing, as well as the entire industry as a whole. It made me feel like I couldn't increase my rates. But really, when I did, it just pushed me up into the bracket of professional filmmaker, where businesses who were looking for a proper service actually came to me. The thing I always remember is there are always people who are better than you and more expensive than you. It's just the way the world works. So long as you can back up your cost with a good quality product, you shouldn't have any fear about raising your rates. It actually gave me the freedom to create better films. The clients respected the process much more and got behind it at every stage, whether that was the planning or just giving me the time on set and the people to film. It became an all-around, more enjoyable experience for everyone involved, just with that slight increase in cost, cutting out the clients at the bottom of the ladder who really scrape through to get whatever they can. Speaking of those interactions, working with clients is a skill that can be developed. I was lucky before going freelance that I like meeting new people and getting to know how they think. So much of what working in film is communication and collaboration. The 2 main points I learned were what do they need and what can I offer them. If you're able to balance those along with the budget, then you've set yourself up for a really good project. Managing expectations is really important as it allows everyone to be on the same page. And it becomes far less likely that there'll be an issue because you're all following the same overarching structure that's already pre-planned. Check out this video for more in-depth tips on communicating with clients. Planning as much as possible before you arrive on set and communicating that well with others is vital. Possibly one of the biggest upticks in quality of my work came when I really started to plan projects before production. I know it sounds crazy that I just rock up to shoots with a vague understanding of how long the final video should be and the shot types and style that the client wanted, but I did that for a really long time. It was only after I started to take more control of the process, affirming what would and wouldn't work with the client beforehand, that my production pipeline became much smoother. I used to spend hours finding the edit and all the footage I'd shot, but going in with a fully prepped shot list allows you to capture those extra spontaneous moments that you know can be used, whilst also ensuring you've captured all the required footage for the original concept. Self-motivation is super important. Working freelance, when you don't know when the next gig is coming in, or if you've got a tight timeline or a low budget, or both, can be really taxing. All the pressure is on you to get it done, and to get it done right. Being able to push through the busiest or most stressful times is really important, but also being able to stay motivated when your calendar is completely empty. There's often a lot of talk of hustle culture, and I'm not really a fan of it. Work hard for sure, and do good work, but make sure you have the capacity and ability to reset and take a break. Do something completely different just to clear your head. For me, I like to do something with my hands, not on a screen, whether it's build a shelf, make a little storage cabinet, or just go outside for some exercise. It can really do wonders. This point might not be super useful to hear if you're right at the beginning of your journey. It's really important to get out there and do lots of things and figure out what it is that you're interested in. However, when you've figured out what it is, try to do mostly that. I had lots of issues starting out with low-paying clients, who, to be honest, tend to be the most difficult. They'll want the most revisions, or change their mind mid-project without an understanding that that will take so much extra time to start from the ground up, and therefore money. And it took me a long time to realise that it's a two-way deal. I'm not going to be able to do my best work if I subconsciously feel like I'm being ripped off or exploited. I had to stop saying yes to projects that I recognised were going to be like this. But it took a lot of doing them in the first place to realise they weren't right for me. Don't be afraid to stick to your guns or set boundaries for what the project entails, especially if you're working for free. Working for free doesn't mean that you're slaving away constantly until the project's finished. It means you're donating your time. So make sure they understand how much it's worth.